Hey everyone, Amanda here. This video is about Reflector Children. Maybe you have a Reflector child yourself, or you know a Reflector child, or you're a teacher or someone who works with children, or you are an adult Reflector who is working with your inner child and you kind of want to go back and give that little Reflector you a lot of love. That is amazing, and I hope that you find something in this video for yourself too. I know that going back and taking care of my inner child on a daily basis really improves the quality of my life. And really, surprise to me is could be compared to a state of childlike wonder, which is not something to be looked down upon. Like sometimes when people say childlike, they're like, oh, you're immature, or you need to be realistic and you need to get it together in this world, and blah, 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 all of that conditioning about what it is to be an adult. But the magnificence of life, as seen through the eyes of a child filled with wonder, I mean, what better state is there to be in? For me, that's what surprise is really like, is just believing in sort of the magic, for lack of a better word, of life and being human and the wonder of it all, really. So when it comes to Reflector Children, first of all, if you're here and you're watching this, thank you, because you care. And that honestly is the biggest thing. You care enough to seek out information about how you can support your Reflector child. That is, to me, like I get emotional when people reach out and ask me, hey, like I have a Reflector child, like how can I best support them? Honestly, you just like caring to know and caring to learn and being curious is the most critical foundational piece, in my opinion, to understanding and loving a Reflector child. Because if you can approach them with curiosity and approach them with questions, they're really wise. I think that before, maybe after you listen to this video, go have a chat with them about it, an age-appropriate chat, depending on how old they are. Obviously, if they're old enough to speak to you. But even if they're really, really young, I believe that there is a source of wisdom in just asking your child directly, hey, what's it like to be you? What does it feel like to be you? What's it like in this environment? What is it like in that environment? Like, why do you like this park? What do you feel in your bedroom? What do you feel at your school? Tell me about how it feels to be you in like these different environments. They will tell you a lot. And even just observing them in different environments, like, are they included or are they separated? I know, like, in certain situations as a kid, I was like totally an outsider. I was like not welcomed in, and I would like sit off to the side. And then in other environments, I almost became like too influential. Like people like brought me to the center, and they were like when I was in first grade, I started this like Spice Girls club, and they were like, Amanda's our leader. So it can go to like these extremes, right? I was kind of bullied, and then I was also like had too much power for a child at certain times, and it would kind of fluctuate depending on where I was and who I was with. And if you can like understand that and see that, you can kind of talk to them about what's going on, again, in an age-appropriate way. Really important to adjust a Reflector's environment if it's not working for them, because there's, if they're not doing well, there's something in the environment that doesn't work for them. Now, does that mean that you have to totally change the environment to like, switch schools, or, move to a new city, or move to the countryside, or move near the ocean, or what have you? Not necessarily. Obviously something like that is going to be a huge shift for you and for your family. Maybe you do that. Why not consider it? Why not consider, if your Reflector child is telling you, I really need this to thrive, helping them understand how they can incorporate elements of that into their life, that thing that they feel they need, without doing like the really dramatic shifts, can help. For example, if your reflector child is like, I need to be near water, like how can you get them into like swimming lessons, or how can you bring them to a body of water that's like not too far away? It's like maybe you're not moving to the ocean side, but maybe you're going swimming in a lake once a week or something. How can you support them in a way that that works for your whole family, right? If they are, if they're really unhappy, or they're getting sick a lot, or they're just expressing something that is really difficult for them and difficult for your family to deal with, like just taking inventory of what's going on. Sometimes I would say that it would be useful to look into switching schools. It would be useful to look into a move or something like that, because the reflector child, is, if they're out like in an environment without you, and they're coming back and they're just really disappointed with everything, is it going to change that much? Probably not, right? So yeah, you could look into different ways to make those more drastic switches as well. I would invite you to be curious about what that would look like, and to get your reflector child on board with helping you out with that process. Like, hey, let's go check out this other school or this other program or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe this will be a better fit for you. Then giving them a lunar cycle and asking them along the way, how do you feel about it today? What's going on for you today? Maybe you check the transits, maybe you don't know anything about that. Either way, it's fine. The key for a reflector is seeing how they feel over time. So if you're allowing them like the 28, 29 days of a lunar cycle, like by the end of that, especially as a kid without all of this like noise, like they, depending on the child, they might be like more, and like how conditioned they already are, they might be more like just blatantly honest with you, like this is the thing, like my body wants this. It's important to, like, on that note, give reflector children their time to make decisions. Like, as much time as you can give them to make big decisions and to be included in decisions, honoring that what the world perceives as slowness is really important. Like if you're a sacral generator, or if you're a splenic projector, whatever, where you're making decisions in the moment, they're not going to be able to do that and have like a good result. Like they're going to jump into things. Like if they're conditioned by you, they see you doing that, they might try to emulate that, or do it like you do it. And so just explaining to them what the lunar cycle is, and like why it's good for them to wait, and how everyone has a different decision-making process, and how theirs is really special too, and how in the long run it's going to be better for them. Now, I know it can be difficult to explain to children like long-term benefits, because especially like in a lot of our cultures and societies, like microwave results, we want it now, right? And so if you're watching a generator, you're watching a splenic person make quick decisions, you might be like, well, that's not fair. But I don't know, maybe as a child you could just accept it more easily without that sort of conditioning of like faster is better, because faster is not better for a reflector. But once they've moved through their lunar cycle about something, it could look like really fast on the surface. Like they could make a shift really quickly once they've made a decision. So this kind of depends on what the situation is and how old they are, but this is going to be for like bigger life decisions. So, not necessarily like what they want to eat for breakfast, but maybe like a diet change. Like if something's not working for their body, or like, some way, like where, like the kitchen that they're eating in, or the dining room that they're eating in is like off for them. That might take them longer to make a decision about and to recognize. So something that's difficult is within your family, if a reflector child is expressing something like that is difficult for you to process, I would invite you to look at yourself and to look at the relationships, the state of the relationships, and to understand that whatever's going on, even if you think it's secret and you're hiding it from your kids, they're going to feel it and they're going to amplify it through their body. And so if there is something going on, because obviously human relationships are hard, let's say between, you and your spouse, like talk to your kid about it, again, in an appropriate, like modified way based on their age and their level of maturity and understanding. But just tell them like, hey, if you're feeling a little, if you're feeling a little sad, if you're feeling a little angry, if you're feeling this, that, whatever, it's okay, like we have some things going on, but it's going to be okay. We're working on it. And helping them to like sort of release those emotions in a healthy and positive way can be really helpful. Also just telling them that like it's not just them, it's everyone's feeling that way in the household right now. That's going to be really helpful. But one of the best things that you can do for your reflector child is honestly just work on your own stuff. Decondition yourself. Go through that, be honest with yourself, be so brutally honest with yourself. And then in turn, you can really help your reflector child be around you and be in the environment with you, because you and everyone in your family, everyone in your household will be affecting the environment, and the environment will affect the reflector a lot. And so check yourself. That's something that, if you're asking what can I do for my reflector child, that besides just being curious about what they need and what would be good for them, what would be best for them, that would be my second piece of advice is like, be curious, ask them, let them tell you what they need, and also let them express themselves and watch what's going on with them, like observe what's going on with them, and then take that information. Like you don't even necessarily have to ask them. They might, depending on their age or level of awareness, they might not even really know what's going on with them. But if you see something going on with them, that is difficult, you might want to check yourself. Is this something that I'm not willing to look at? Is this something that I need to learn for myself? Am I bringing this to the table of this environment? Is my partner, my spouse, my other kids, like what's going on? Is it their school? Is it their, and it's not a blame game. This is not a game at all. It is honesty. It is truth. It is neutral. And even if you deny that something's going on with you, your child's gonna feel it. So if you're lying to yourself about what you're going through, it doesn't mean, you being in denial and lying to yourself doesn't mean that your reflector child is also gonna be like, oh, that's not real. They're gonna be feeling the truth and the real thing and amplifying that. And maybe not knowing what's going on and thinking it's them and really identifying with this feeling of there's something wrong with me. So you can teach your reflector child about the lunar cycle to whatever degree feels right for you. I'm going to make another video about the lunar cycle so that you have access to it. It is a coloring workshop. I used to teach, it was a paid workshop. I am at the point where I want YouTube to pay me instead of individual people. So please, again, like subscribe, watch my videos, but wait, watch for that video, because that coloring workshop can be really easily tailored to any age. Like you can be an adult and do it and you can be like, oh, I see it now, I see this visual. You can be a child and you can see, oh, I'm different. Like there's 64 different versions of me throughout a 29-day period. Wow, okay. Seeing that visual, I think, can be really cool. It's also cool for you to see, to do that activity with your child and for you to see what their lunar cycle looks like. So watch for that video. If you have any other specific questions about parenting reflector children or working with reflector children or working with your own reflector inner child, please drop them in a comment. I would love to answer specific questions and dive deeper into it, because as Ruhu said, human design is not really for us, it's for the children. And it's on us to, to really be in our deconditioning process and be honest with ourselves so that we can then open up the door for reflector children just being able to grow up being themselves, all children to grow up being themselves. Thanks for hanging out with me in this video. I am sending you a lot of love, and I will see you next time. Bye.